Oh, let me get the tweet up. Oh.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Daily Dose. As always, I am your host, Dylan Davis. Today, I am joined by, as always, Matt McGinty. You can follow him on Twitter at Matt_McGinty. But today, we have another co-host slash guest here on the Daily Dose. He is Dibes. He's at Mr. Crockpot on Twitter. He's a great follow, especially if you're into superheroes, unlike someone down below me. Shouldn't even be allowed on the show anymore. But the Daily Dose is brought to you by the Painted Lines Network. So if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications on the Painted Lines YouTube channel. You can follow the Painted Lines on Twitter at the Painted Lines. So guys, the champs are in town.
The champ is here. The champ is here. Let's go.
The Los Angeles Lakers come into Philadelphia with the best road record in the NBA. I don't think they've lost on the road. Nope. And the Sixers, as we know, had the best home record in the NBA. One loss. We don't here at the Daily Dose. We don't really count that as a loss. That has a nice big asterisk next to it. So Gint, let's start with you, buddy. How are you feeling? Just before we get into keys to victory, everything like that, just what's your feel on this? I believe the line is set at 3 right now. That's a telling line.
Yeah, I'm terrified, but I'm not terrified like I'm unconfident we're going to win. I'm terrified of if we lose, how quickly Bradley Beal's name will be brought up on my timeline within the first 40 seconds of the final buzzer going off. But yeah, I'm excited, man. It's the first real test, I believe you'd say, with hopefully they'll be fully healthy. So I'm excited, very excited.
We got excited. I'm nervous. I'm nervous as hell because I'm with Gint. Like, I just can't for my mental health. I can't deal with Sixers Twitter. Like, it is so. I had the other night against Detroit, dude. When I tell you in the first half, Gint, I was sending you tweets from Sixers Twitter. I had to go on an unfollow spray in the first half against Detroit because I can't do it. We suck. We're embarrassing. We can't win the title. Blah blah blah. Trade for Bradley Beal. We missed out on Hart. Oh my god, dude. Oh, my God. So I'm nervous. I'm nervous because I can't deal with this fan base. Dibes, how are you feeling? We have a little Sixers fan there with you. How are you feeling?
Yeah, she's probably going to make an appearance at some point. She's finishing her dinner now, but she's all Sixered up. You'll see in a second. I'm psyched, man. I am so jacked up for this game. This is the first real test for the Philadelphia 76ers. They kind of got robbed from us during the previous matchups like the Nets, the Nuggets. But here we are, Sixers versus Lakers. Ben Simmons, 4 wins versus 2 wins for LeBron James. So there's a little bit of a history there where Ben Simmons shows up. One of our best games last year was Ben just showcasing against LeBron James last season. But how can you not be excited? This is the game where Joel Embiid is going to make a statement. This game tonight, Joel Embiid is going to say to Shaq and Charles and the Lakers and the NBA world to say the process has arrived. MVP Joel Embiid is here.
We got a couple comments. Marquise saying, let's go Sixers. 1-0 is the goal, especially against the defending champs at home. 1-0, Marquise, tell them. And Vasilio says, yo, Vasilios, what is going on? Dodge, before we get started in our takeaways, in our predictions and everything like that and break down this game, would you like to plug the TPL public Discord really quickly?
Yeah, so we got a public Discord right now. Just go on our Twitter page at the Painted Lines. You'll find our Discord link. Just click it. Join the chat. Talk whatever you want. Vasilios has joined. It's a good time. We're trying to make this as interactive as possible. But I'm ready, guys. But after we move to this Sixers discussion, are we going to talk about the Dark Knight? And when does that watch party start? Right, Kent?
Ken has no idea what you're talking about. What's going on, Ty? You guys can check out his podcast on the Painted Lines. Pull the pin. Good stuff there as always. Not the biggest golf guy, but I like watching it for Ty. and the guys at the Painted Lines. The public Discord is really just a place for you guys to interact with us and talk with us outside of when we're on and you guys can comment along. It's just like hanging out, like a big group chat, essentially. During the games, we're always active in there after the games, everything like that. So join the TPL public Discord and hang out and talk with us as much as you like. But let's talk about the task at hand tonight, because Marquise is right. Just focus on going 1-0. Again, how can the 76ers focus, or how can they get to 1-0 tonight against the Lakers? What is a key to victory tonight for the Sixers?
So I'm going to start on the offensive side of the ball. And Dylan was reading me off the Lakers stats in terms of the defensive side of the ball. And everything that was said was they were in the top 10. I was like, geez Louise. So my first takeaway is the Sixers got to get to the foul line. And like primarily Joel Embiid would be awesome. Get their bigs in foul trouble. Anthony Davis, Marc Gasol, Montrezl Harrell. Because we got to find a way to get easy baskets. Because clearly teams aren't scoring in front of the Lakers in the half court. So you have to find a way to get points. I literally could not believe the numbers you were rallying off. So, yeah, that's my first takeaway.
Well, I'll rally some of them off for the people here just so they understand what we're talking about here. The Lakers defensively in 2021 are second in points allowed, fourth in rebounds allowed. Let's see, fifth in defensive rebounds, second in 3 points allowed, second in blocks, sixth in opponent field goal percentage, third in opponent 3-point percentage, first in defensive rating. So no, it is not an easy task, a simple task to get buckets in the half court versus Lakers. Hi.
Say hi.
Little crockpot.
Go Sixers.
She's all sixered up, as Dibes said. So that's another thing that Dibes is a proud father. So Dibes, if you follow him on Mr. Crockpot on Twitter, he's always tweeting good stuff out. But yeah, so the Lakers are not an easy bucket in the half court. So I completely agree with you there again. It's going to be a tough task. One thing I did notice about the Sixers, however, to go off of that is we're fourth in pace offensively, I think. Fourth or fifth offensively. So that's one way to do it. Get out and get transition buckets. And how do you do that? The Sixers, it goes hand in hand with the Sixers and the Lakers. The Lakers are 25th in turnovers offensively. The Sixers are 29th in turnovers. So both teams like to cough up the ball. Who can win the turnover battle? If the Sixers can win the turnover battle and get out and use their top 5 pace offensively and get transition buckets, easy buckets against a very good, if not great, Lakers half-court defense, that is huge tonight. Dibes, what's one of your first takeaways? You got anything for us?
Again, Dylan, you absolutely crushed it. Get to the free throw line. And this is a defensive matchup that I'm looking at. This is a playoff preview for the Philadelphia 76ers. You nailed it, Dylan. When you saw the Sixers starters healthy, fully playing, they haven't lost, by the way. They were the number 1 defensive efficiency team in the NBA. In comes the Lakers, like you said, Dylan. Now they're number 1. Now the Sixers are 5th because of all that crap they've had to deal with over the last week or two. The Sixers are now 107.2 defensive rating and 12th in offense. Well, before everything kind of just fell apart because of COVID, they were nearly top 10, number 1 in defense, and almost top 10 on offense. Really, it comes down to shooting. I really want to see I really want to see Joel and Seth, that 2-man game, shine tonight. We haven't seen it yet since Seth's returned. I really want to see the open looks again. How many times did we see in those first 7 games when the starters were playing and healthy, just open look? The Sixers were getting their shots. You touched on it, Matt, but getting Ben in better positions to score, getting Joel under the basket, post him up. When he gets 15 or more post ups, the Sixers do not lose. I want to see guys get open shots. I want to see Ben find the open man. I want to see our shooters come through because this has to be a perfect game. This has to be a really strong game. And Embiid 20 or plus more free throws tonight. Let him eat at the free throw line. If you do those things, the Sixers should get the W.
Love it. You mentioned the 3-point shooting in the 2-man game with Seth and Joel. Seth has struggled a little bit from beyond the arc, and then he tweaked that ankle in the second game against Detroit. But he is available tonight, so we'll see how he looks tonight from beyond the arc. Again, another key to victory. What do you got?
I'm going to point this one specifically to one player, and that's Ben. I think Ben needs to be really aggressive tonight. I think LeBron's going to see a lot of time guarding Ben. So Ben needs to be aggressive to the point where LeBron's not just getting a rest on one side of the ball. So Ben, and also if he's aggressive, he might be able to get LeBron a little bit of foul trouble and make the Lakers go a little bit deeper on their bench. So that's another key that I'd love to see.
I'm going to stick with Ben for a second on the offensive side as well. Obviously, he has to be aggressive. Obviously, like you said, keeping LeBron active on both ends at this age is something he doesn't want to do. LeBron is still very good defensively in spurts at this point of his career. Why? Because he's not going all in on the defensive side of the ball until he needs to in certain moments. My thing with Ben tonight, I look at the Joel and Marc Gasol matchup, right? Marc Gasol gave Joel issues in Toronto. That one performance, what was Joel? He didn't have a point. He's 0 for 11 from the field, right? But I think a lot of that gets put on Marc Gasol, and he was great against Joel. Don't get me wrong. He's a bigger guy. He's a bigger body. He can kind of stand still with the wall, not let Joel back him down as easily as some of these other guys we've seen early in the year. However, one thing Toronto did is they would have Gasol stand pat behind Joel on the block, and then Ben's guy could sag off because that's how Toronto plays Ben on defense. And he can front Joel and not make it easy to get the ball into the post to Joel. And then when he puts the ball on the floor, it makes it difficult for him to get to work. When Ben, I agree, he has to be aggressive in the half court. But when he's not on the ball, when Ben is off the ball tonight, I don't even know if I want him in the dunker spot as much. I want him in the opposite corner on the opposite wing, keeping his defender as far away from Joel as possible so that that double team cannot come over so quickly and so easily and not let Joel get into rhythm early. That is huge in my opinion tonight. Dives, any other keys to victory?
Let's get bench Dwight Howard back to this game, man. Starting Dwight Howard has been atrocious. It has been an absolute train wreck. The Sixers are now 0-4 when Embiid's not playing. However, when he's coming off the bench, he's been terrific. You look at the games when Dwight Howard has come off the bench, his turnover percentage. When Dwight Howard has started, 38.1%, 36.8%, 20.7%, 14.5%. His offensive rating, 92, 110, 79, 90. The Lakers are a very top-heavy team. The bench needs to show up tonight. I want Shake and Tyrese, that pick and roll with Dwight Howard to shine again. Limit the turnovers. The bench needs to show up tonight against Los Angeles Lakers. And I want to see Dwight Howard back, not getting into foul trouble, not turning over the ball. Too much of Dwight Howard is a bad thing. I think we've all Sixers fans have learned that so far. Get Dwight in that off-the-bench role where he thrived earlier this season.
Another thing real quick, Dylan, before I cut you off, in terms of foul trouble is, my God, Ben needs to stay out of foul trouble tonight. It seems like every game at this point, you look at the box score and Ben has 3 fouls in the first half. Like we need to somehow skate him out of the first half with less than 2 fouls. But we'll see.
Yeah, 2 fouls or less would be nice. Same with Joel tonight. I agree, Dobbs. That man, I love me some Dwight Howard signing. I mean, Dwight Howard bench Dwight, right? He was one of my favorite signings. It's been so bad that TPL will not be doing Sixers watch parties when Embiid is out.
I will say they are more fun than watching the Eagles live.
Yeah. Yeah. What I will say though, Dives, is remember like the first 3 games people on the watch parties were asking for Dwight to start?
My goodness, where are they now?
I don't know. But here's the thing about Dwight is, like you said, less is more with Dwight Howard and that bench role. When he comes in limited minutes, he cleans up the glass. And then I think in all of the last game that he started, how many rebounds did he have against Detroit? My God, he got put out for Tony Bradley. That's hard to do. That is hard to get benched for Tony Bradley, guys.
What he had four rebounds in 20-some minutes, and one turnover, and he was god awful.
They kept trying to run the offense to him in the paint. 3 possessions in a row, they tried to get the ball to him in the paint or throw a lob to him, and I wanted to rip my hair out. So less is more when it comes to Dwight Howard. I don't know how much him and Ben can play together. They can't. That is one of the biggest issues you're seeing with Joel off the floor. It is the overall team, don't get me wrong. And I think a lot attributes to that. I don't know, weird offseason, shortened offseason, not a lot of practice time. What does that mean? not a lot of practice time without Joel Embiid and to get into your stuff without Joel Embiid. So that plays a role. But also, I just think that combination of Ben and Dwight does not work. I don't know. You're getting your thoughts on that.
No, I agree, and especially when you plug in a guy like if it's Maxey or Thibault alongside of those two.
Yeah,
you're running into 2019 Philadelphia 76ers.
All right, so we have so far, and we'll get to some more if you guys have any. We have get the LA bigs in foul trouble, get to the free throw line. Ben, stay aggressive, make LeBron work on both ends of the floor. When off the ball, stay away from Joel so your defender cannot collapse and double team Joel early in the paint. Win the turnover battle, use your pace, get transition buckets. Gint, do you have another one?
Dives, you can
go. Good.
Make it a game. Keep it a game in this fourth quarter. You look at the Sixers starters in the fourth quarter this season, plus Embiid plus 4.7, Simmons plus 3.8, Seth Curry plus 6.4, Tobias Harris plus 5.3, Danny Green plus 3.4. You look at defensive rating. This is clutch time in the fourth quarter. 64.8 defensive rating for Tobias Harris, 72.4 defensive rating for Ben Simmons. Get this game close in that fourth quarter. Let the Sixers clamp it up defensively, and let's get the W.
Marky215 has a great comment here. Like, just going off of what we were talking about with Dwight and Ben playing together. That's the thing. What did you like, guys? Why do you think we won? Like, without Joel in 2017, we won those 16, 17 games in a row, right? And then last year, the Lakers game last year, there was no Joel. Ben beat that Lakers team. The Cleveland game, I'm pretty sure, in 2017 or 2018, Ben won without Joel, right? But why is that? When Joel's not on the floor, yeah, they had a stretch big. The White is not that at all. So that's a great comment. Gint, you have one? I have another, but go ahead if you have one.
And Mark kind of actually just commented. It's the second unit. I mean, Dives alluded to it. The Lakers are so top heavy. If you look at their averages per game, LeBron, Anthony Davis, Montrezl Harrell, Dennis Schroeder, all averaging about over 14 points a game. And then after that, KCP, Kyle Kuzma, they don't go much deeper. So guys like Shake and Dwight and even like Tyrese Maxey, like we need the second unit to give us something tonight. Even Matisse Thybulle, he looked really good against Boston and then right back to himself in Detroit. So the bench needs to give us something tonight.
I'm going to say something that you guys are going to kill me for. And I've never thought would come out of my mouth.
Oh no, don't say it.
Because you know he's going to get run tonight. You know it. You know he is.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
It is a must that Furkan Korkmaz is knocking down shots tonight.
Yeah.
It's a must. He is going to play. That's I already know that's happening. It's not like Doc, it's clicking with Doc where I'm like, oh, well, if he doesn't hit his first 2 or 3 shots, he's out, and I'm plugging in Joe or someone else. Doc lets him right out there for 20-plus minutes. No, Nadir, no. All I'm saying is it's a must that he hits shots tonight. When you're talking about, when you're looking at that second unit, you're not going to get really anything outside the white, maybe 4 to 6 points, right? Matisse hasn't really given you anything offensively. Ever since that Boston series, Maxey has, come down to earth a little bit since, we were all hyping him up, and that's fine. That's not a jab at Tyrese Maxey. That's just the truth. He's a rookie. He's the 21st overall pick. He's looking like that at the moment. So he's not going to give you much offensively, I don't think. Shake's been struggling. Where does your offense come from? It has to be he's the next option. That's it. So he has to hit shots. Bottom line.
He's been slowly coming back compared to the start of the season. 2 for 7, then 2 for 3, then 1 for 4 lately over the last 3 games. Korkmaz shooting roughly like in that mid-30s range from 3. But I'm with Marquise. I'm an Isaiah Joe guy in the catch and shoot. I love what I've seen. I like his length. My only problem with Furkan is what does it mean? What does it mean when you talk about getting valuable minutes in that rotation in the playoffs? Like, we know Furkan can't hang in the playoffs against these top teams in the East. We know it. That's a fact. At least if you build up Isaiah Joe, maybe you got something there. And I don't think the drop-off in shooting is that significant enough here. So that's my only take. I'm hoping Korkmaz. I'm rooting for him, man. You nailed it, Dylan. He needs to hit at least 1 or 2 threes and really keep that momentum on the Sixers side. However, it's not peaches and cream this year. He's not had an easy go so far this season.
No, he hasn't. I had another point in my mind, but I forget it. So I'll go ahead with the takeaway.
I think it was we were talking about before in terms of matchups for the Sixers, where you throw Joel Embiid, where you throw Tobias Harris. Yeah. Just because Anthony Davis is top 7 basketball player in the entire world, and Marc Gasol's 7'1", so it's tough to gauge where you really throw Joel Embiid. I assume he'll get a lot of Anthony Davis time, is the assumption, and I think the Sixers would be okay with Marc Gasol trying to beat us rather than Anthony Davis, but it's something really interesting to look at.
Yeah, these matchups are definitely interesting. The point I was going to get to is plus minus is definitely a weird and kind of flawed stat. I throw it out there a lot, like because it's nice when Joel or Ben or Toby's a plus 21 or whatever in a game, but it's also a very like weird stat to gauge. However, I mean this when I say because of Furkan's streaky shooting and you know his inability to play defense.
I will be dropping a January highlight reel of every single Sixers player, not every single, but the top Sixers players and overall in January. So that's coming.
Is the Furkan 180 dunk going to be on there?
It's a little longer. It's 20 seconds.
Yeah.
So his inability to play a lick of defense, plus minus for Furkan, is a very telling stat. And dude, since he's been back, I think one game he was either even or like a plus 4 or 5. Every other game he's been a dreadful minus. And like the one game, what was the one game we won?
He was
everybody.
He was -9, and he
was -9, and Shake was a -2. Everyone else was a plus. That is very telling to your inability to play defense and what happens defensively when you're on the floor. So bottom line is he's not going to. I don't know who he's going to guard tonight when he's on the floor. Whether it's Kuzma when he's out there, Caruso, whoever it is, he needs to hit shots. Yeah. Bottom line, or, you know, he hits a few and Shake wakes up to 22 to 28 point Shake Milton off the bench tonight. That's
what we need.
It's a stretch 4. You need a stretch 4, and you need to add an upgrade to Furkan Korkmaz. That is the clear path there. I mean, he's only making $1.7 million this year. He's basically house money. That contract is amazing. Maybe they're trying to increase his trade value, but that's definitely a position that you could easily find. I don't know if like a buyout wants to come to the Sixers come trade deadline, but that's what I'm looking at. And maybe it's not even a shooter. Maybe it's a guard that can defend the pick and roll, something like that. Because who knows if Tyrese Maxey hits a rookie wall? It's probably coming. But that is definitely an area where if I'm Doc Rivers, Daryl Morey, you explore different avenues there.
The only thing that has me concerned, this line screams Sixers. I love the Sixers starters together. This is their first, this is a test where the 9-0 streak with the starters could be over, right? That's a realistic possibility tonight. And it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I think they can win the game. I think Superhero 18 is getting confused. We are not Furkan Korkmaz fans here. Like this is like the third comment. We are not supporting Furkan. All I said is he has to hit shots tonight.
Dylan is not a Furkan fan.
No. If you watch the show, no, go back and you'll learn.
I like Korkmaz, but when you have like a guy like Isaiah Joe trying to get playing time, like that's the thing.
Yeah.
Especially when he went on a run of just being an absolute flamethrower off the bench.
Pick and roll, his points per possession, the pick and roll as a scorer, and then the catch and shoot were bananas.
Yeah. But now the thing that scares me compared to last year's Lakers team was obviously they won the chip. They got better. You bring in Montrezl Harrell, you bring in Dennis Schroeder. I'm missing somebody that they brought in, Marc Gasol. But matchup wise, I'm looking at this and I'm like, what do we do? Because I completely agree with Gint's point where, okay, who are you going to make beat you? Are you going to put Joel on Anthony Davis, which is what I would do, and say, hey, if Harrell or Marc Gasol or both of them have big nights offensively, that's how we go down tonight? Or do you try to match up size-wise, throw Joel in the 7-footer? Toby can't handle a 6'11" Anthony Davis, but that's just what I'm thinking. So, but when you look at it from the opposite side, if you throw Joel on AD, Toby's guarding who? 7'1" Marcus Gasol. Big ass Montrezl Harrell. When he checks into the game, Toby can't handle him on the block. Okay, then let's think. Maybe you throw Ben on there because Ben's 6'10" on one of them. Toby's not quick enough to guard one of the guards or wings that the Lakers have. The matchup is it, yeah, or LeBron. The matchup is what's scary to me.
Yeah.
Thoughts on that?
The worst part of it is they don't like. Usually, when you look at that, you'd say, okay, well, on the other end, we're going to have a mismatch. But in reality, we really don't. Anthony Davis is a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. He came in second in the vote last year, I'm pretty sure. And Marc Gasol has had a lot of success with Joel Embiid in the past. So that's something that is really concerning.
Yeah. I mean, this is a good point here. Martin, not trying to scare you, man. I'm trying to be excited for this game. Ben would guard LeBron, but if you're talking about me taking Ben off of him, yeah, I have no idea. That the mismatch is scary. He says, hold on, this was the one. Harris played Marc Gasol very effectively in the Toronto series because they played Joel on Siakam a lot, I believe. No.
Yeah, it would have to be.
Yeah, it would have to be.
This game, man. This is one of those games where
2-3 zone. Kidding.
This is one of those games where it's a really tough matchup. Marc Gasol has a very
good track
positive history versus Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid struggles with those big bodies like Marc Gasol. But obviously, the Stars what the Sixers should do in this game is let everyone else try and beat you. At least Dennis Schroeder is not great in the pick and roll, and that's something the Sixers have significantly struggled to defend. 0.8 points per possession as a ball handler, as a scorer in the pick and roll, 51st percentile. Maybe that's something you got going for you, that you have LeBron and you have Anthony Davis. Maybe Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Schroeder, make those guys beat you and focus on stopping LeBron James and not slowing down Anthony Davis and LeBron James. And really the bench, I think, but it really comes down to that defensive energy from Tobias, from Shake, from Joel, from Ben. This is going to be everyone stepping up that we've seen. And as I talked about earlier, having that number one defensive efficiency team that we saw earlier this season show up tonight, that's everything.
I think my last thing is if this team can get off to a quick start. I truly believe that's a storyline. To like, you can't get down early like you were against Detroit. Like, what did we start Detroit? Wasn't it like 13-4 or something like that early in on Monday night or whatever? That I'm telling you now, that can't happen tonight. I know that sounds crazy. Down 9 within the first 4 minutes. Obviously, the game's not over. But this team is too good, too many weapons. We're talking about the mismatches. If you get down double digits early, I find it very hard to believe the Sixers can put together enough stops throughout the course of a game to come back and take a commanding lead at whatsoever. So shooting, being efficient early is going to be huge.
Yep.
We also don't know if LeBron's playing tonight. He's questionable.
Oh, he's definitely going to.
Yeah, I think at this point he would be announced playing or not. But every time we've been on this show and someone was fringe playing,
right after,
not play. So,
So those are our keys to victory for the Sixers tonight, guys. But here's the thing. We are 2.5 hours. It's 7:30 tip-off on ESPN. So we're 2.5 hours away from tip. I want to get to this real quick. You could catch them slipping if our energy is higher than theirs. That's going to be a huge factor tonight. Which team comes out faster?
This is their fourth game in 7 nights. That's also something significant to watch. This Lakers team could be kind of having tired legs in this one.
Yeah. TPL breaking news: Matt McGinty canceled practice tonight to prep for Sixers game.
Practice was canceled tonight.
Game was canceled tonight.
Oh yeah, there was supposed to be. We were supposed to have a game tonight.
So it's 2.5 hours from tip, guys. We've talked about it enough, I think. Let's get into it. Daily Dose stars of the game before we get to our score predictions. Dibes, you're the guest here, so start with you.
And Joel is allowed.
Joel, since it is one of those bigger games, Joel Embiid is available to be a star of the game choice. Dibes, who you got tonight and why?
I'm going Ben. Ben's got to be the guy.
Yeah.
Ben Simmons, you look at his last game against LeBron, 28 points, 10 boards, 8 assists, 4 steals in 41 minutes. He was 12 of 15 from the floor. Ben's got to be the guy. We saw last Monday night where Ben was clearly in coast mode, not aggressive, getting in foul trouble. Tonight, it's on center stage. Ben has to flip that switch and be the Ben that we saw a couple games before where he had 150 offensive rating with Seth Curry. I don't count Monday's game without Joel Embiid. That's the Ben we need to see when he's just dominating defensively, making the right pass, looking to get to the free throw line, attacking the paint. That's my Ben. I'm going with Ben Simmons.
Gint, you can go next.
I'm going with Shake Milton.
Wow.
Yeah.
Love it, man.
I just think he's played not to his standard in these last couple games. I'm going back to the Shake that went 28, 31, 24, all in a row. And, I mean, you just look at these Lakers guards, and he's bigger than a lot of them. And defensively, we talked about how good the Lakers are as a unit. But their guards individually are not that good defensively. So I think Shake's going to have a night in the pick and roll in the second unit. So I'm going to go with Shake.
Man, making me so happy, man. I love Shake.
I'm going with the guy who's finally available for me to take.
There you go,
and it's that simple to me.
Yeah.
I think if he shows up and dominates, you're at least in the game. I think and if you're in the game against the Lakers, that to me, see, everyone wants to keep talking about like the barometer test right now. Where are we at this point in the season? Like we're 9-0 fully healthy, but we haven't really played a true like competitor or contender, right? Okay. What if we lose to the Lakers by 2 at the end of the game? Is that not good enough for people?
Do we need to trade Ben?
Like Dives, thoughts like if we lose by 2 or 3 at the very end of the game, is that not good enough against the defending champs who are absolutely amazing so far this year?
No, it's good enough for me. It's good. It's not good enough for the
Sixers Twitter
of Sixers Twitter and WIP and all that bullshit.
WIP.
I'm going.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm going right here. I think he's going to continue to showcase why he's the MVP front runner right now. Definitely game plan wise, there's going to have to be something different. Like he's not just going to post up Marc Gasol, and play a little head game there with him, because we mentioned it earlier in the weekend on the Daily Dose Dives. That mid-range jump, like that's one huge difference in his game this year. The mid-range jumper is becoming almost like knockdown. Like there's no questions about it. When it goes up, it's going in. That is huge tonight. Where does he get the ball in the half court? How deep is he into, the zone, like in the paint? So I'm going with Joel Embiid, MVP Embiid for the star of the game tonight. Gint has Shake Milton off the bench because he's going to have to, produce offensively off that bench unit. And Dives is going with our quarterback and facilitator and Ben Simmons to get up 5-2 against, you could call his mentor, LeBron James. Let's get some comments here. Superhero 18 says Embiid 35, 12, 2 blocks, and he vanquishes the Gasol myth. Marky is going with Ben with you, Dives.
Myth.
Dude, I love Marquise's energy again. Embiid, Toby, and Shake all will have 25 plus, and Seth is going to have 20 as well.
Oh my God.
That's almost 100 right there.
Let's see.
We will be insufferable in that. If that happens, I promise you, we will be insufferable Sixers fans on that post-game show. 100%. It's going to be crazy.
Superhero 18's coming at your neck here, Gint. We lose by 2, but Ben never shows up. I'm done. It's time to move on. Joel deserves better. Marquise isn't going to be happy tonight, fellas. Tomorrow. If it's not 1-0, Marquise wants nothing else but a win. Toby should have the mismatch. Sixers are getting 3.5. I wouldn't be too upset losing by 2. Dude, if you cover less than 3 against the defending champs, and it's a great game, like he said, what's the flow of the game like? Now let's get to it, guys. We gave our stars of the game. What's up?
Hold on. Also, I don't think Marc Gasol knows what's hitting him tonight. I think, dude, Marc Gasol has had his way in the past, which, again, we only stated that Nick Nurse has a really, really good act for kind of deciphering Joel Embiid, which is where this thing kind of started, where he kind of owned Joel Embiid playoff series. But he's a different right now. He's a different breed. And Marcus all don't know what's coming tonight. I'm being serious.
You just talked me into my score prediction. So, Dibs, we'll start with you just like we started with the starts of the game. Win or loss, and what's the score tonight?
Score tonight will be, I think this is going to be a high-scoring game, even though these are two very good defensive efficiency teams. I'm going to go in that 120 to 118 range. The Sixers get the W tonight. We've got a locked-in Joel Embiid. This is not your Joel Embiid of 2019, 2018. This dude is locked in. He's having fun. It's all business this year. This is all business, Joel. Joel Embiid carries with a 40 burger, and Ben has 20 points for the first time ever. That's what it feels like. And the Sixers come out on top, man. I'm nothing but positive energy tonight. Doc Rivers has this team, especially in crunch time, playing like a team that wants to win. This is not your Brett Brown Sixers. This is Doc Rivers Sixers, Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris. We have a comment saying Tobias Harris is one of the mismatches of this game. Tobias Harris and Joel Embiid is the lead of this offense. I'm going Sixers win tonight, led by our big three of Toby, Joel, and Ben, and it's going to be amazing.
Again, you know what Dobbs just said? He saw that 3.5 line.
No.
Outright. He said, "I'm taking the Sixers outright tonight."
I never bet on your Philly sports teams, man. That is 100% number
Benjamin.
one.
Morning, Ben.
You just wake up from a nap, or where are you from? Thanks for tuning in. Again, score prediction: win or loss for the Sixers tonight.
I'm going 113-108. Sixers win.
Wow.
Yeah, dude, I said it 1,000 times. Until I'm proven wrong with the starting five, I'm taking them against anyone right now. So I'm going with the Sixers W. And like Dive said, I think the big three has a huge night. And then I took Shake as my guy, so that would make it 4. So
the game is home. If this was in LA, this would be a completely different conversation.
Even with no fans. Ben's from Australia.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in, man. Marquise, 109, 104. Superhero, 18. Sixers, 107. Lakers, 101. You know, I could be a negative Nancy. But it talked me out of it. I got a feeling, and I'll up you one, Gint. Actually, you had them by 5, but I'll follow your role. You give me the Lakers minus 3.5. I'll alt spread that. Sixers minus 3.5. Sixers get the dub tonight. They win by 4. I'm going to go 116 to 112. 76ers taking down the Los Angeles Lakers. Marquise, I love you, my guy. The Lakers had the best road record in the NBA. They're undefeated at the moment. So that's a myth. Gint, you got any locks for Marky?
I just told you the Sixers.
Marky, what I have
I took Ben to record a triple-double. That's the only bet I made.
Nice.
I got a few in. I got Points Bet. I don't know if you're on that. That's a Jersey app. Oh, yeah, Marky's from Camden County, I think I remember. So if you're on Points Bet, they have Joel boosted 25-plus points is a minus 110. I took that. And then on FanDuel, I have the Pelicans over the Wizards, the Suns over OKC. And what does that look for? You got something to say about my picks?
No, man, keep it rolling.
The Suns over OKC and the Nets over Atlanta, all money line. That's like a plus 142. Parlay that. And then I also doubled down with James Harden to record a triple-double and the Nets win. It's like a plus 1,200. $38 pays out over 400. So throw that in there, Marky. Not in the parlay. Do that separately. Be smart here. Parlay is normally a sucker's bet. I don't know why I threw 3 teams in one tonight. But, Isaiah, I promise you, if this happens, my heart will not be able to use. There will be no more daily dose. Because my heart cannot handle an overtime.
Dude, I don't work till noon tomorrow.
Marquis, son.
Oh, yeah.
They're awesome.
That is awesome, man. We need that positive energy tonight, man. There was zero positive energy against the Detroit Pistons on Monday night. I'm telling you, man, we went into that game with like nothing. And sure enough, it was what is expected. It's different tonight, man. We get the W tonight.
It'll be huge, man. It really. So what is this, game 19? Is that math correct? Yeah. So right. Game 19. Again, what were we talking about months ago? I want to evaluate them 20 to 25 in. Well, you're right around there. If they're 13-6, the one in the East just beat the Lakers at full strength, or at least have a competitive game down to the wire, I'll be evaluating them pretty well. But there you have it. All three guys here on the Daily Dose taking the Sixers to win tonight. Let's switch gears for a second while we have dives for a few more minutes, and go to our hometown Philadelphia Phillies, because finally, they do the right thing. They do the right thing, and they re-signed JT Realmuto, 5 years, $115 million. I believe it's just north of 20 a year, making him the highest paid catcher. It's not the overall. I believe he has the highest AAV of a catcher all time in MLB history. He won in Joe Mauer money. He got Joe Mauer money annually. And he came home. Last week, we asked for JT to come home, didn't we?
Yep.
And he's home. Thoughts on the signing? Dives, we'll throw it to you first before we let you go.
All right, good news. I mean, this is one of those things. Like, I've been waiting to get my daughter a jersey, a Phillies jersey, and I've been waiting for this deal to get done, because now it's going to be JT Realmuto 100%. This dude is a superstar. You look at 2019, this guy was unbelievable. He was the lone Phillies all-star. He somewhat like outshined Bryce Harper in his first year. He was the first Phillies player to win a Gold Glove since Jimmy Rollins back in 2012. Last year was just a different year. There were injuries. There were back-to-backs. He kind of just struggled. But if you put like the games that he played and put that into a full season, like this dude was hitting like 30 home runs. Yeah. The last good news. The Phillies got this one right. Matt Klentak, as much as I hated that guy, when he left, I was celebrating. He got it right. The Phillies front office deserves a lot of credit. The brass rolled the dice this offseason, thinking that the market wouldn't be as big as it would have been for JT Realmuto, and they got it right. As many bad contracts that are on this team, they got this one right with JT Realmuto. Fingers crossed, Harper, now the core is Harper and JT Realmuto can convince really people to come to the Phillies and lead us into a hopeful playoff berth. But let's get to the bad news and I'm sorry, guys. I went from here. Now I'm going to go to here, from the Sixers to the signing to here. The Phillies are still a mediocre team. They are 100% a mediocre team. The division got better all around them. They still need to add pitching. They need to add more arms in that bullpen, even though I like kind of some of the moves they made over the last several weeks. They need to exceed expectations dramatically in order to make a playoff spot. Alec Boehm, Spencer Howard, all these guys need to really step up. The defense in the infield is atrocious. Kutch is the worst. You can't rely on him. Rhys Hoskins, what do you got? There were so many wild cards on this team. Long story short, I'm so happy JT Realmuto is back. The best defensive catcher I've ever seen in my life. Sorry, Chooch. It's like watching Roy Halladay pitch. That's the best pitcher I've ever seen physically pitch a baseball game. JT Realmuto is the best defensive catcher I've ever seen in my life. So I'm happy now that I can buy my daughter a JT Realmuto jersey. However, the Phillies still have a lot of work to be done, and they're still teetering in that like mediocre range where they're still probably the fourth best team in the division.
I had a friend of mine text me that last night and say that he still thinks we're fourth or fifth. When I look at this division, I think the Miami Marlins take a huge step back in a full 162-game season this year. So that immediately takes us out of fifth, I think. Don't get me wrong. The Braves, the Mets have gotten way better, and the Nationals have gotten better. So, yeah, the Phillies could be the fourth best team. But I think between the four, like, I think there's a chance the Phillies could rank anywhere from 2 to 4, realistically. So what was the issue last year, right? What was like the sole issue?
Bullpen.
The historically bad bullpen, right? Yep. Well, he's gone out and Dombrowski has gone out and brought in 3 new bullpen pieces. But they're not just bullpen pieces that like Clantac went out and traded for, and they have nice little numbers. No. What do these guys do? They throw hard, they throw with high velocity, and they got some stuff, right? That's what I like to say with pitchers in the field. You need some stuff. They have some stuff, and they throw hard, and they get outs. That's what I'm looking for. So if the bullpen is upgraded, right? Like even if they're bottom half of the league, like going from historically bad to 20th best bullpen in the league, that's a huge upgrade, right? Now where else does my attention focus to? So you have your 1-2 punch in Wheeler and Nola, right? And then you have the young kid Howard, who you're hoping who can take a step pitching wise. Then you look at your bats. JT behind home, Kutch and Bryce in the outfield. Center field is still a question. Reese at first, you made a great point, Dobbs. You never really know what Reese you're going to get. And then as of right now, Boehm at third, who I agree with Mark, he's a core player, right? But he has to keep that up. It was one really solid season in a short year. But I'm excited to see the kid play. And then middle infield, you're looking at, as of right now, Kingery and Segura as your middle infielders flopping from either side. Defensively, that's not good enough. Up the middle. And then center field, I was listening to the Missinelli show the other day, and it was brought to my attention of something I completely forgot about. Dude, Odubel Herrera is still a Philly, right? And he's back.
Is he really?
Yes.
I didn't even know that.
He was suspended for 85 games.
I've heard Odubel Herrera's name in forever.
He's on the right. He's supposed to be back. That's what they were saying.
Well, what's he gonna give you?
Nothing. I have no idea. They were putting him starting center field. Dude, I would. You can call me any kind of crazy. You can call me any kind of crazy. Odubel was an all-star before, was he not?
He was.
Okay, I'll put if Odubel if he shows something in camp, Odubel's my center fielder. If he comes out publicly apologizes, I think he's a shit person. If he comes out publicly apologizes, like rights his wrongs, whatever, and he stays out of trouble, he's my first. Who are you getting? Hazley? No. Everyone loves Roman Quinn. Yeah, he's so fast. The dude can't get on base. So all that speed goes right in the freaking shitter because he can't get on base.
He runs back to the dugout fast.
Yeah, that's what he does fast. He runs down the line, pops a Yui, and gets right in the dugout. Okay? That's what he brings you. And he's not that great with his glove. Okay, so Odubel would probably be my center fielder just based off of bat alone. However, I do know Dombrowski has connections to Jackie Bradley Jr. His name's been floated out there a lot. That's a name I wouldn't mind the Phillies bringing in center field. But there's definitely some issues. But what I'll say is when you have the lineup that we could potentially have, or if you bring Didi back or something like that, and you had that stacked lineup from 1 through 6 or 7, and then you have an upgraded bullpen, I still think a starting 3 is needed in the rotation. I don't think Spencer Howard's ready to be that guy.
You're not ready for Vinny V part 98.
Oh my God! Talk about
if Vince Velasquez is back as a starter on this team. I will bash my head against this wall. I thought we got rid of that at the end of last year. Like I thought they finally realized he's a bullpen piece or he's nothing.
It's brutal.
So you're looking at right now. You're looking at Nola, Wheeler, Howard, Eflin, I guess Vinny, and I will. Oh my God. I will do some bad things. However, all I'll say is people did not like the Dombrowski hiring at first. And I was questioning why, because I don't know a lot about the guy. And I hear, he sells he destroys farm systems. He depletes farm systems for rings. First of all.
Can't destroy what you don't have.
Yeah. We don't have a farm system. Second of all, what's the goal here? Do we want to be process Sixers fans and watch guys grow as they come up through our system? Or do you want to win a ring? I'll go chase a ring. Okay?
Yeah.
What's he done since coming in? Re-signs JT, brings in 3 hard-throwing relievers, and I think he's still got some more moves up his sleeve. So we'll see.
Not bad.
Not bad at all.
Yeah, I'm no complaints over Dombrowski so far. But you look at that bottom of the starting rotation. You look at the bullpen. That's where you're hurting you are hurting so bad there because you have not developed any arms in your farm system at all. And that's the biggest problem. That's the biggest problem.
Besides Sixto.
Yeah, and that
was the biggest thing.
Nice to have JT come back because Sixto is amazing.
That was the biggest thing alone. Like me and Mike Small on Spitball and talked about this a lot, and that will be back closer to Philly season starting. But like one thing we talked about was signing JT, and from my perspective was like, dude, if you gave up the best pitching prospect you've had come up through your system since I don't know how long, one of the best ever probably, and you see what he's doing in Miami in the postseason for 2 years of playoff list baseball with JT Realmuto.
Not even 2 years.
Yeah, a year and a half. That is awful. Okay? You had to get it done for that side alone. Forget JT's the best defense. So you were going to let walk away the best player at his position, at least defensively, a guy who could probably at that position give you close to 30 home runs in a single season. And for the price you gave up to get him, you were going to let him walk away after a year and a half without making the playoffs. That would have been the worst deal maybe in MLB history.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we're about to get into our updated Eastern Conference All-Star list in the NBA for the last 10 minutes or so. Would you like to join or would you like to hop off here?
I'm going to hop off, hang out with my daughter, but thank you guys for letting me join. Go follow my man Dylan at DylanJD98. Follow my man Gimp, despite his poor comic book movie take, at Matt_McGinney. Thanks, guys. See
Any
you
plugs? Yeah.
Yeah,
EPL watch party. Start. What time does it start, Dive? 7?
7 o'clock, baby. Let's go Sixers. Have a good night.
Thanks, Dives. All right, let's get into our list. You guys can comment with us here. If you remember a couple weeks ago, we started our Eastern Conference All-Star list for this NBA season so far. And every week, every Wednesday, we got off track last week, but back today on Wednesday, we're updating that list yet again by the current week. You guys can comment along who your list would be, who your 12 would be, and we're going to give you our 11. If we're missing anyone, you guys can comment along, and the majority vote for who's not on our list will get the Daily Dose 12th spot on the Eastern Conference All-Star list. So again, here's what I got for us. In the East, Trae Young, agree or disagree? Trae Young.
Agreed.
Giannis.
Agreed.
Kevin Durant.
Agreed.
Joel Embiid.
Agreed.
Kyrie Irving.
Agreed.
Jaylen Brown.
Agreed.
James Harden.
Agreed.
Jason Tatum.
Agreed.
Bradley Beal.
Agreed.
Julius Randle.
Kind of. He's starting to fall off, though.
Tobias Harris.
Now, yeah. I don't agree with Tobias.
You don't?
I do not.
All right, who would you have? So you wanted to
Here's my thing. I would have
away.
Tobias with that news on Sabonis that just came out.
Yeah. So Sabonis is
I'm
falling off that
going
list.
to throw Tobias in there now. Yeah.
Okay. And Randall is a maybe. And there's one spot open for you guys to vote. And trust me, there's a lot of names I know in the East, guys.
Well, I think Chris Middleton is approaching yes.
Bam's out there. If Bam
no, Bam is a yes.
Well, then Bam's the 12th spot.
Then I'm cutting Julius Randle, or is Julius Randle 11?
What about Vucevic? Zach LaVine.
I know, dude. If Zach LaVine doesn't make it, Zach LaVine's gonna be the one. Like when Bradley Beal initially didn't make it last year, but he got in because someone got hurt or something. That's who he'll be this year if he doesn't get in, dude. The fans will go nuts. And don't get me wrong, Zach LaVine's having an awesome year, but the Chicago Bulls are historically bad. So Mark brought up another name. Gordon Hayward's putting up good numbers, but
yeah, he's putting up great numbers for Charlotte, and he has them competitive.
I also want to see.
I mean, dude, Brogdon's averaging 22.7.
Yeah, they're talking about having the game now.
Yeah, I know.
How many players?
Wait, dude, whoa. Jeremy Grant.
See, that's another thing. They're 4-13. I don't think he'll get enough votes.
I don't know, dude. He's like top 5 in scoring in the NBA right now. He's averaging over 24 a game.
I know. I want to see also, just because when we were on our show when was the last time we did this? Monday?
Yeah, we had yesterday off.
We did it Monday. They were talking. It came out. They were talking about having the game. I wonder how many guys will go play in it.
I agree.
I don't know if you'll see a ton of guys go play in it.
I mean, dude, Brandon Ingram's averaging over 22 for the Pelicans. That's in the West. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was looking at the Wizards matchup and it took me.
Yeah.
I mean, I think so. This isn't including Ben, and Ben obviously is not an All-Star right now, but that's like innate. Like when you think of All-Star, you would think of him for the Sixers.
And don't be surprised. So we're saying this where it goes by who's having the season right now, but Ben was fringe getting a starting spot last year.
Yeah.
Fan vote. He very well could get in off the fan vote.
Yeah.
But I think Harden will automatically get in, and then it's come down to either Kyrie, Trae Young, or Ben at that point, or even Bradley Beal might get a lot of the fan votes. So,
like, dude, just throwing out there by names, right, that we don't have. I'm just going to go through them real quick. Chris Middleton. Okay, Brogdon is averaging over 22. Vucevic. Jeremy Grant. There is Bam. Well, we have Bam on there. Jimmy.
Siakam in there.
Siakam, Lowry, obviously Russell Westbrook with how he's performing.
Resting him tonight.
Yeah, dude,
they're 3-10. They don't got time for rest.
Dude, he is. You want to talk about losing following you? Like he wins nowhere, bro. Nowhere.
Yeah, I think he gets a bad rep.
Does he?
I think so. I mean, all you hear about
what was this
teammate and this and that, but every single one of his teammates ever just talk about how good of a teammate he is.
Okay, I'm not talking about it as from a teammate perspective.
Oh yeah, he plays very inefficiently for sure. Triple double.
He's got 163 points on 163 shots or something like that. I saw.
Yeah.
And he liked it, and like SportsCenter or whatever on Twitter and Instagram were like, Ross is using it as motivation. Bro, you should be you're motivated regardless. Okay, you just got traded again. Like, dude, we were thinking like Washington with that backcourt, like they don't have a very good team. Yeah, they don't have it. They're not a very good team, down the line. But with those two, you'd think they'd be able to win some games. He's been awful.
And Bradley Beal's been amazing. That's the difference.
Did you see that thing of Bradley Beal, like not crying, but like
he was pissed. Yeah, the Wizards down bad. We're gonna have to. We'll obviously keep updating this every week. It's gonna be about who's playing well at the time, but it's gonna come down to like the nitty gritty to see who's playing really well at the right time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So Chris says that 20 points a game doesn't matter anymore. 39 players in the league are averaging at least 20 points per game. 20 years ago, only like 22 players were averaging it.
Correct. 20 points, 20 points.
Yeah. And not to mention when I was saying like Jeremy Grant's he's averaging over 24 and he's like top 5 in the NBA in scoring right now. And I know they don't have a very good record, but when you're top 5 in the NBA in scoring and you're playing at the level he's playing outside of one bad game against the Sixers on Saturday, hard to believe he won't be at the bottom of that roster as of right now. So what are we going again to wrap up the show? Bam's on the list.
Yeah, Bam has to be on the list, especially the last week he just had. It was like unbelievable.
Over who'd we put him over? Julius Randle?
Yeah.
Okay, and then there's a 12th spot.
Oh, we still have one more spot?
I only named 11.
Middleton's not in there?
No.
I think Chris Middleton.
Chris Middleton? I'll agree with you just because there's so many. Like I kind of agree with Mark slightly. But
yeah.
What's Charlotte's record? Don't they have 7 or 8 wins?
I think they're 8-8.
Yeah, I mean, they're a 500 team, and he's averaging almost 25 or something like that. So I don't know, dude. It's tough. It's going to be a lot of fun to keep looking at it every week and see who falls off. Kyrie had fallen off for a second because he lost his mind and stopped playing basketball without telling anyone for a second, and then came back and
yeah, he's going to make it.
No doubt. So with that being said, again, anything you want to plug? Anything?
No, I'm good. Huge game tonight. Super excited. We'll be back tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Sixers take on the Lakers at 7:30 on ESPN at the Wells Fargo Center tonight. Let's see if that home win streak can stay up because I don't count that Denver loss at all. We all took the Sixers outright to beat the Los Angeles Lakers tonight. So we will see you guys tomorrow. Wait, Gint, what's your schedule tomorrow?
So today was just an anomaly. So I'll be here tomorrow.
But is it a game tomorrow or?
No, practice tomorrow.
Right.
So I'm here normal time.
All right, so the Daily Dose will be back at you at 4:30 tomorrow. So check that out as we review the Sixers-Lakers game, hopefully in a very positive manner. Also, side note, didn't talk about it today because there was a lot to discuss. Flyers get back on the win streak. In the win column against the New Jersey Devils last night, taking them down 5-3. They are now 4-1 on the young season. They take on the Devils in New Jersey tomorrow night as well. So we'll discuss that game a little bit. And the Faithful Fanatics podcast will be back following the Daily Dose. What?
Did you see Hoops Edgel's tweet for the MVP tracker?
Who what?
MVP tracker.
No.
Who do you think's number one?
Jokic.
Yeah. Dude, I hate him.
He's just not better than 2-1. He's not.
No, he's not.
He's not. All right, with that being said, go Sixers. Have a nice night.